Thousands of people will gather at the Vietnam Forces Memorial in Canberra today to honour the servicemen and women who fought in Vietnam. Today marks the 50th anniversary of Australian troops being withdrawn from the longest armed conflict of the 20th century. Let's go straight to Canberra now, and joining us live is the former Governor-General of Australia and Vietnam veteran, Sir Peter Cosgrove. Sir Peter, good to see you. Thanks for your time this morning. So, on a day like today, how should we be reflecting on Vietnam?
Good morning, Peter. It's great to be with you. It's a bit gloomy here in Canberra, but I know that the crowd who will be at the arrangement for the commemoration, like all Australians, will be reflecting on what was a long war, 523 lives lost, 60,000 fellow Australians were there, Navy, Army and Air Force. And they all performed magnificently, as honourably, as bravely as all those Australians who were their predecessors in uniform. So Australians today can say that this senior citizens group, which we are now, held up their end and did the job that the country asked of them. So it's a day to honour those veterans.
And how do you remember your experiences?
Oh, look, I was a young man. I had these magnificent soldiers, a group of mixed group of regular soldiers and national servicemen, all of them magnificent, all of them lifelong friends. Fortunately, the ones that I served with all came home in one piece, and I can say that these days, we're all getting a little greyer, a little older, much slower, but it's going to be after the solemn part of the occasion today. We'll probably repair somewhere and tell 70-year-old lies.
A big part of the story, and it's a sad part of the story, is the treatment of Vietnam vets on their return to Australia. How would you describe that?
Well, I was lucky not to have experienced it. I know that some of my colleagues did, and I know that they were nonplussed by it, because it's not in the spirit of the ordinary Australian way to do other than embrace a returned veteran, and then get on with life. Nobody says that they should be adored or something, but the other way it went sometimes, it was visited upon returning servicemen and women rather than on the, I guess, really the people that you want to express your dismay to. If you're against something, it would be those people who are in charge. And the Navy, Army and Air Force did as they always do, and that is the bidding of the government of the day.
I mean, my father-in-law is a Vietnam veteran, talked of having to fly into Sydney after he was posted to Vietnam, in the cover of darkness to avoid protesters, things of that nature. It was almost as if some vets were shamed into being part of that war.
Well, I can understand some people felt dismayed because they knew that from the past, long lines of men and women, probably in civvies on Anzac Day, were cheered to the echo as they marched through city streets. But in some cases, yes, it was a bit anonymous and a bit, please don't tell me about what you did in Vietnam. I'm not interested. That sort of stuff was quite wounding for people who put their lives on the line.
Yeah. Ultimately, it was an unsuccessful war, a failed and very costly intervention, somewhat similar to Afghanistan, actually. Should we have gone in the first place with the benefit of hindsight?
Well, you can argue that all day, and in the theory of the time, a strategic theory of the time, it was necessary to curb what was seen to be the sort of encroachment of a monolithic and adversarial ideology, being communism. Others, on the other side of the coin, people would say, oh, no, they were nationalists looking to get independence of their country, for their country. So in that respect, I would say that you could argue that all day. But you're right, ultimately we did leave, and therefore we failed. So we failed, I suppose, in the broad and sort of global aim, but no soldier, sailor or airman or woman failed in their duty, and they did what Australia asked. So we can today just say to those people, well done.
Yeah, good point. Now, you referred to this earlier, but it's interesting now, Sir Peter, that our vets were shunned on their return. We spoke about this, but our Vietnam veterans are now getting to an age where they are some of our oldest diggers. So should they be revered even more now?
Well, I think we always have a healthy respect for older people, even when they can't run for the bus anymore. We say to the bus driver, "Wait, there's an old guy there." Look, we're now. If you went to Vietnam, you're going to be in your 70s. It's hard to see that you could have gone there as a service person and still be south of 70. And there's 35,000 of us left out of the 60,000 that went, roughly. And you know, that's sort of now the big cohort of elderly veterans, those wonderful men and women from the earlier conflicts. By and large, they're no longer here.
Yeah. So Peter Cosgrove, really good to chat to you today, and thank you for your service.